This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. The information contained in this podcast is intended for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for individual professional legal advice. The podcast information was carefully compiled from vetted sources and references. However, Rose Resources Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly cannot guarantee that you will not fall victim to a scam. Let's talk about scams. It's the must-listen show for anyone who wants to protect themselves and their loved ones from scams. Every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio, Joyce Petrowski, founder of Rose, and her guests will provide valuable insights and practical tips on how to recognize and protect yourself from scams. And now, here is your host, Joyce Petrowski.
Well, hi, welcome back, everybody, to Let's Talk About Scams. I'm your host, Joyce Petrowski, founder and board president of Rose Resources Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly, where our mission is to prevent the financial exploitation and defrauding of the older adults through advocacy and education. The education we provide is a scam prevention through education platform. We have workshops where we educate the older adults on what to look for to be able to determine, be able to recognize a scam and then avoid falling victim. Our website is roseadvocacy.org. You can find our social media channels on the homepage. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there'll be two different signups. One is for our emailed newsletter and the other is for the newsletter that we send every month in the mail. And don't forget, you're going to want to click subscribe to this show so you don't miss an episode. So today, I want to talk about a new scam that's going around. It's regarding if you get an invite from a friend, an invitation to a party. Okay. So I'm going to use the word evite because it's coming electronically. I'm not 100% positive that the scammers are impersonating evite, but I'm just using it as a term here. So you get an evite to a party from someone you know, your friend, and you open it because you're interested, right? You're curious. Okay, I got invited to a party, and you're asked to put a password in to see the invitation. So the Evite company is a real company, but this Evite is not coming from that company. The scammers are impersonating the company. So when you check to see if the company is real, like you can Google the company to see if it's a real Evite company, it shows that it's a real company. So it's just that it's not from them. They're being impersonated. So when you enter the password, they ask you for your address, but it's too late. Once you've entered the password, they have access to your email account and can gain access to your computer in some cases. And then they're going to go and target everybody that's in your address book and contact them with a evite to a party from you. And since it shows that it's coming from you, your contacts, your friends are going to want to open it. And some people might, something might click when it's like, okay, why do I have to put a password in? Other people might be like, well, I have an account with this company, so yeah, I have to put my password in, as my login so I can go in and look at it. And so the cycle just keeps continuing and continuing with this impersonation scam, but then also being able to access your email account, which then gives them access to all of your contacts and all of your emails, which sometimes could have some personal information. Sometimes we send credit card information over our email. If you just think about all the different types of information that you might send over your email, but then it very it's very possible that they could gain access over your computer, which is going to be even more detrimental, because if you log into sensitive accounts, let's say financial accounts on your computer, and if they're in the background watching, well, then they can see your logins to your accounts. So you want to be very, very careful with this. If you get an Evite from somebody, and it's not just the electronic invitation company Evite, there's other companies out there that they can be invite companies that they can be impersonating as well. If you see that email come through and it's a party invitation, check with your friend or the contact, whoever it is, first. Use the verified channels. If it's your friend, you're going to have their verified phone number. Call them directly and find out if this actually is a legitimate invite from your friend before you get in and start looking around. That's going to safeguard you from having somebody take over your email account and or worse, your computer. So this information just came into me last week, and the person that sent it is still gathering information on this email scam. So once, as I get more information on it, we'll be putting more information out, not only on this radio show, but we're going to be putting it out on social media. So you're going to want to make sure you, if you're on Facebook, follow us on Facebook. If you're on LinkedIn, we're there. Instagram, we post just about every day. And we're going to have this information on social media as well. If anybody has seen this scam come around, we're very interested to know more about it. So please shoot us an email, comment on the Facebook post regarding this radio show. Give us a call and let us know. Be very interested to see how they, see the actual email that comes in, if you still have it. All right, now we're going to move on to, there's 4 FBI public service announcements that we're going to go over, dating back. The first one's the end of June. I'm going to see here if I can share my screen. There we go. So the first one is June 27th, and it's titled "Criminals Posing as Legitimate Health Insurers and Fraud Investigators to Commit Healthcare Fraud." Let's see if I can't put this up here in front of me. So when the FBI puts out these public service announcements, they're seeing an uptick in these types of scams and frauds that are going on. And so they put these out to warn people. So they're definitely seeing an uptick in this. So the FBI warns about this impersonation scam where criminals are impersonating health insurers, so health insurance companies, and their investigative team members. They're sending emails and text messages to patients and healthcare providers, disguising them as legitimate communications from trusted healthcare authorities. And the messages are going to pressure victims into disclosing protected health information, medical records, personal financial details, or providing reimbursements for alleged service overpayments or non-covered services. So be careful with that. This not only can steal your personal information, your medical information, but it can also steal your money, like with non-covered services. They could say something's not covered and you owe money for it. So tips to protect yourself: always be suspicious when you get those unsolicited emails, text messages, phone calls. If you did not initiate it, be suspicious about it. It's unfortunate. I know when I grew up, well, we didn't have email when I was growing up, but when it did come into play, we had that belief where we could just trust. And so we just automatically trusted the email. And for a certain amount of time, we could do that whole trust but verify. And we could verify later if we wanted to. And 99% of the time we were good. Well, unfortunately, the world is so much different today that we can't just throw that trust out and just automatically trust. We have to be suspicious. And that's what we call that healthy skepticism. Skepticism can be very healthy when you're trying to protect yourself and your finances. So have that healthy skepticism and just pause, ask yourself, why am I getting this email? Why am I getting this phone call? Why am I getting this text message? Question it. And if it is actually from your health insurance company, well, pull your health insurance card out, and they're going to have a customer service number on it. Call that customer service number and find out what's going on. That's your way to verify what's going on. And be very careful if you open the email that you don't click on any links. And I know if you're looking at emails on your phone, it can be very hard to not click on a link because you have a very small screen that you're working with. So just be very, very careful with that. I know sometimes if we go to use our finger to scroll down to read the email, sometimes it could hit the wrong place and you've clicked on a link, which is another reason why you should always have that good antivirus software and that anti-malware software on your phone. A lot of people have it on their laptops, their desktops, their iPads, but your phone is a mini computer and you need to have it, or a mobile computer. You need to have that on your phone as well, because having that software, if it was a bad link, chances are that software is going to come up and warn you that this is a malicious site. Are you really sure you want to go here? So it's a safeguard you can put in place. Always use strong passwords and multi-factor authentication with all of your accounts. And I should say not only strong passwords, but different passwords as well. And keep your the antivirus software updated and your operating system updated as well. The next one is, let me move here, is this one. Public service announcement came out on July 3rd. It's called Fraudsters Target U.S. Stock Investors Through Investment Clubs Accessed on Social Media and Messaging Applications. So criminals are out there trying to get you to maybe join an investment club, get you to invest in stock. They're contacting you through messaging applications, social media. So like Facebook is one in particular. It has the messaging app with it. So maybe they get a hold of you on the messaging app because maybe they've cloned someone else, a friend of yours account, and you received a friend request from your friend and you just automatically accepted. I actually just had that happen to a family member this morning. They were like, uh-oh, I think someone's cloned so-and-so's account. And I said, yeah, they did. I already let them know about it. And they're like, I accidentally accepted that friend request. So they had to go in and unfriend them or unfriend that fake account. But that's a common way that they'll get you on Facebook, and then they message you, and then they want to take it over to a more secure messaging app like WhatsApp, and I'm sure there's other ones out there. But let's see what this public service announcement says. So far in 2025, and this is only because this came out on July 3rd. So 6 months into the year, the FBI has seen at least a 300% increase in victim complaints referencing what's called ramp and dump stock fraud from 2024. So let's see what that ramp and dump stock fraud is. Let's see. The scheme known as ramp and dump stock manipulation targets U.S. investors through online engagement, often via social media, advertisements, or messages promoting an investment club or of fellow investors, some of which may be bots or fake accounts. And so let's think about that. We've heard of the celebrity scams, right? You get contacted by a celebrity. Well, with artificial intelligence, now it's really easy for the scammers to clone a celebrity's voice and use that, or even have, show you in the forefront the celebrities, make it look like it's the celebrity's picture or that you're talking to the celebrity, but it's really them in the background. and that's their deep fake. So with artificial intelligence, we need to be even more careful with, with this. So let's see where we at here. These promotions typically direct victims to secure messaging apps where the group operates. So a lot of scammers like to go to WhatsApp because it is more secure than text messaging or Facebook messaging, all of that. To appear credible, the scammers may impersonate legitimate brokerage firms. We've talked about this impersonation scam a lot. A lot of information about a lot of companies is online. You just need to go to their website and find a lot of information out. And scammers are really good at creating fake websites to impersonate companies. They secretly control a large volume of low price stock and coordinate efforts to inflate its price. That's the ramp up, by inflating the price, by encouraging investment club members to purchase shares over a period of several weeks or months. So that's their way to inflate the price, in essence, to ramp up the price of the stock. And then once the price is artificially elevated, because if you remember, we've talked about the pig butchering scam, where scammer gets you to invest in it's usually cryptocurrency investment. They create fake statements. Well, they're doing this here too. They can create fake statements and show you, or maybe on the website, they've got some tracker, fake tracker there that's monitoring the stocks, and they create this fake inflated price to show you. And then the criminals will sell off their shares, which is dumping it at a profit, leaving the legitimate investors with significant losses as the stock value collapses. So let me go back here. I think I might have misstated something here. I said they can show, as like in the pig butchering scam, where they can make fake investment statements and show that you're making all this money in this account. It looks like on this one that based on getting the investment club members to purchase a bunch of shares over a period of several weeks or months will inflate the price as more people buy the stock. And then so once the price, it's artificially elevated that way, and then the criminals are going to sell it off, their shares, at a profit before they even let you know what's going on. And then you're back with having a lower valued stock because the stock value has collapsed. And so now you have a loss. So just be very careful. If you're going to be joining an investment club and you don't know anything about it, do your research. Please do your research. Talk to your, if you have a stockbroker, if you have an investment advisor, talk to them, see if they know about this investment club and what's going on. But please do your research and just type in the name of the investment club, in your search engine, and put scammer fraud after it and see what comes up. You'd be amazed at what's out there. But please just do your research before you get involved in any sort of investment club. So let's see so unsolicited investment tips received via unsolicited text messages or social media advertisement, linking it to an online investment club. Be very careful about that. There's also claims from well-known financial advisors or wealth managers offering exclusive stock recommendations through these online clubs. Again, a lot of us want to believe what these well-known financial advisors or wealth managers have to say, but still you need to do your research, because with this artificial intelligence, it could be a scammer impersonating this well-known financial advisor or wealth manager. So do your research. Pressure to act quickly. That's usually a huge red flag. And they're going to say it's, the market moving and all of that stuff. You need to get in now. Again, do your research. Take the time, pause, do some research before you invest your money. All right, so that's that one. Let's go to the next one here. This one is July 31st. It is unsolicited packages containing QR codes used to initiate fraud schemes. We talked about this probably in June, I think, on social media. We had heard a lot about it where it was the brushing scam, and that we might have even have put that out there even before June. Maybe it was in the spring. There's this brushing scam out there where sellers on, let's say, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, wherever they're selling online. It's usually Amazon because most of the sellers are on Amazon, but and a lot of people have Amazon accounts. So it's a really popular platform to sell your products on. But could be legitimate companies that are actually trying to inflate their reviews that they have on their products. And they send you a bunch of tchotchke stuff that you didn't even order and all that. But you can go, if you just look up brushing scam, and that's brushing as in like a hairbrush, you'll find out more information on that. But let's see here. Then the criminals then said, we're going to take this scam and we're going to change it a little bit. We're going to send a package to people with a bunch of, or it could be one thing, it could be a bunch of things that they didn't order, but they don't have a sender's name or address on there. And then you open the box. Most people are going to open the box. They're curious. They want to see what's in it. And there's a QR code, and they want you to scan the QR code to see who sent you the package. And that QR code, once you scan it, then prompts you to provide personal and financial information, which then downloads malicious software onto your phone. And you know what happens when you get malicious software on your phone. The criminal can steal a bunch of information. They can monitor everything you're doing on your phone. Let's see. Yes. So tips to protect yourself on this one. Unsolicited packages. Just be very careful with those that you've received. It's always nice to get a package, especially when you didn't buy something, right? You open it up and it's something you never ordered, and it was actually addressed to you, because we all know sometimes we get packages delivered that were for our neighbor. It was delivered to our place by mistake. So, make sure it has your name and address on it. But if it's things you didn't order, you're not under any obligation to return those. You want to keep whatever in the box, just be careful with what it is, obviously, right? Or you can just throw it away, but do not scan any QR codes. I know you might be curious as to who sent it, but just know that this is a scheme that criminals are using. And once you scan that QR code, they can take over your phone. So just be very, very careful with that. Just rip up the paper, throw it away. And then, let's see. Yep. And then with QR codes also, QR codes can be manipulated. And we've seen a lot of information out there from a lot of different people. It's usually when the QR codes they could be on a piece of paper that's stapled to, a telephone pole or a sign, or the window or something. It's out in the public where a bad actor could take a fake QR code and put it over top of the legitimate one, and to your naked eye, you don't realize that that the QR code's been has something over another QR code on top of it, and so you scan it, and then it affects your phone in a bad way, in a malicious way. So even be careful with QR codes out in the public as well. Let's go to, we have one more. Let's see, this one, the most recent one, is from August 13th. Fictitious law firms targeting cryptocurrency scam victims combine multiple exploitation tactics while offering to recover funds. Now, we actually just posted this on social media yesterday. So there are bad actors out there that are posing as fake law firms, and they are going to cryptocurrency scam victims and saying that they can recover their funds. But of course, it comes with a fee. So there's a lot of exploitation tactics used in this one. And this happens to affect the older adults more so than other age populations. So they're exploiting the emotional state and the financial need to recover funds from a previous scam, and giving the victims the safety and security by impersonating or falsely affiliating themselves with multiple government agencies. Or as the title of this PSA says, they just make up a fake law firm. Because we all look to law firms, the majority of law firms, as persons of authority. So this scam poses a lot of different risks. It could, including the theft of personal data and funds from unsuspecting victims. And if the bad actors are impersonating a legitimate law firm, well, there could be some reputational harm there to the actual lawyers being impersonated. So there's that added detriment there as well. But just know that law firms are not out there working to get your money back from a cryptocurrency scam. So if you remember, gosh, was it seems like it's been forever. Last week we had Erin West on, and she works at Operation Shamrock, and she is an expert in cryptocurrency and specifically the pig butchering scam. But she also knows about a lot of other scams as well. But she is an expert in cryptocurrency. So if you have lost money in a cryptocurrency scam, I highly suggest that you go to her website, and it's operationshamrock.org, and look at information there, and maybe inquire with someone in their office if you have been contacted from a law firm, from someone saying they're from a government agency trying to help you get some or all of your funds that you lost to a cryptocurrency scam, to recover those. Contact her agency, operationshamrock.org. Like I said, she is a cryptocurrency expert, and they will be able to talk you through this and let you know what is going on. So there's a lot of different red flags here on this PSA. Let's just go through here. Impersonation of actual lawyers or legitimate law firms, and the production of fictitious documents with the legitimate law firm insignia or letterhead. So it's a red flag indicator. But if if the bad actors are impersonating an actual law firm and they've made letterhead with the law firm's logo and this and that on it, that's going to be extremely difficult to know if you're actually getting, if that letter is actually from the legitimate law firm or if it's a scammer impersonating that law firm. Then it says impersonation or affiliation as official authorized partners with multiple U.S. and foreign government or regulatory entities. Just know there are no law firms which are officially authorized partners of U.S. government agencies. So if you're getting information about recovering some of your lost funds and it's coming from a law firm saying that they are partnered with an authorized U.S. government agency, just know that no law firm is an official authorized partner of a U.S. government agency. So you would know that's fake right off the bat. Sometimes the letters might refer to fictitious government or regulatory entities, such as International Financial Trading Commission, and it's INTFTC. You can see that right in there. Double check, verify whether such agency even exists. Scammers have been known to just make up. We talked about charities, you know, when a natural disaster happens, sometimes they just make up a fake charity. Well, they can make up fake government or regulatory entities. Do your research and verify that that is an actual agency. If they're requesting payment to help you recover your funds and they want you to pay them in cryptocurrency or gift cards or prepaid gift cards, that's a big red flag there, right there. Let's see. Sometimes they state that the victim was on a government affiliated list of scam victims and they can recover their money through legal channels. That's a big red flag there. The government is not going to publish an affiliated list of scam victims. They're not making that public. They're referring you to a crypto recovery law firm. We've talked about that. There is no law firm that is an affiliated partner with the U.S. government. They might state that your funds are in an account held at a foreign bank and they want you to register an account at that bank. You should not have to register an account at a foreign bank or a U.S. bank to recover funds. If they're going to put you in a group chat like on WhatsApp or other messaging applications, supposedly for the secrecy and safety of the client, that's a big red flag too. Legitimate law firms, legitimate government agencies just don't use WhatsApp and all of that to message with their clients. If they don't have the ability to prove credentials or a license, they don't want to appear on camera, they don't want to do video meetings. But remember with this that we talked earlier about artificial intelligence. And this is with, this was going to come into play with a lot of different scams where the scammer would not come on video to talk to you because they're not who they're impersonating themselves to be. But now with this artificial intelligence and the deep fakes, they can make it look like whoever it is they're impersonating. So it makes it even more difficult to determine if it's a scam. And there's also, they've seen where these fake companies, the bad actors are requesting victims to send payments to a third party for purposes of maintaining secrecy and safety. That's a big red flag as well. So in these circumstances, you need to use what's called a zero trust. You need to assume that no one should be trusted to help you get your recover your funds from a scam until you have done your research and you have verified that this is an actual company. And you have to think through the process here. When someone gets scammed and they report it, it's going to go through an investigative process. The police, the FBI, different types of law enforcement, they're going to go through an investigative process with you. And if they can then get to the people that are committing these crimes, it's going to get, they're going to have the prosecutor, the district attorney, whoever it is that is going to prosecute the case. And if they can recover assets, then you're going to have the court system that's going to come out and say, and again, I'm not 100% on how this exactly works, which is why you should talk to someone at operationshamrock.org. They have got all of this knowledge, but someone, whether it's the FBI, law enforcement, or the prosecutor, the courts, they know that you are one of the victims because you've already reported it. You've proven to them that you've lost the money and you are one of the victims. And they've gone through and they've been able to recover some assets. It happens sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes it does happen. Well, then it's filing the claim and then being able to get some of your money back. So there's a process for all of this and the channels that you have to work through. So someone that's just getting a hold of you, and I see this on our Facebook post, whenever we're talking about a specific scam, we get all of these, and it could be bots, it could be actual people, but they're making comments on our post and they're saying, if you've been a victim of a scam and you've lost money, contact this person. And they most of the time will give a WhatsApp phone number or, contact them because they helped me get my money back. I try to go in and delete all of those, but sometimes people see them before I can delete them. They're bogus. Please just ignore those. Don't call those WhatsApp numbers. Don't contact those people because they're going to be very good at convincing you that they can help you get your money back. Just know that there's a process that has to come into play before actual assets, if there are any assets that can be recovered, to where then if you were one of the victims, you might be able to get a portion of your money back. That's all I have for you guys today. Next week, we're going to have Dr. Martina Dove on. We're going to talk more on, let me see if I can stop sharing here. All right, we're going to have Dr. Martina Dove on again. She's going to go over some updates specifically related to some romance scams. And in the near future, we are going to have Aaron West and Dr. Martina Dove on, and it'll be the three of us talking more about the psychology and different scams and how scammers will exploit your emotions and your good nature to get you to engage with them and hand over personal information or money. So don't forget, go to our website, roseadvocacy.org. You'll find all of our social media links at the top of the page. You're going to want to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can find all of our episodes on our YouTube channel. That link is at the top of our homepage at roseadvocacy.org. Scroll down to the bottom and you will find you can sign up for our newsletters, our emailed newsletter, and we send one out via mail as well. You can sign up for one or both of those. It's, and I want to give you guys a little bit of an analogy that I actually just thought of last week. We get a lot of people, I mean, really, who wants to talk about scams? Is not a fun topic to talk about with a lot of people. It's negative. You end up losing money, and it's emotional, and it just has a lot of detrimental effects. But we're at a point that we have to talk about this. And I use the analogy of, if you remember when you were first learning how to drive, you weren't experienced, you knew how to drive, you've taken classes, you took the test, you passed the test, you've been driving maybe even for a couple of years, but you weren't experienced. And you're going down the road, and maybe you're speeding, maybe you don't know you're speeding, but all of a sudden you see a policeman, whether they're parked on the side, they're coming the other direction, you automatically put on the brake. It's a panic, and a knee-jerk panic reaction. You put on the brake. Well, as you get more experience driving, this happens. You see the policeman on the side, you see the policeman coming, on the other side of the road, or you all of a sudden see him, wherever. You're more apt to just take your foot off the gas and let your engine slow down a little bit like that. You're pausing, and you're just letting your foot off the gas a little bit. And that's your pause, because you're experienced. You've been driving a lot, number of years. It becomes a habit. You just pause and take your foot off the accelerator a little bit. Well, this is what we want you to do with scams. And it's not that we want to have all this negative information and have you looking over your shoulder all the time, but we want to help you develop that healthy skepticism. So when you are contacted, you're taking that pause, you're taking your foot off of that accelerator, and you're pausing to be able to do your research and use a clear state of mind, a rational state of mind, to determine whether this is a scam or not. So having that information, whether you get it via social media, you get it via the newsletters, you're getting it on this weekly radio show, or a combination of some or all of them, it's there to help this healthy skepticism become a habit. So when you're contacted, your foot comes off the accelerator a little bit, and you take a pause and you research what is going on with a rational state of mind, and not in a panic mode. So with that, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Well, that's all the knowledge for this episode. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio at k4hd.com as Joyce explores a variety of knowledge, so you have the power to make scam protection your healthy habit. And until then, feel free to reach out to Joyce, and let's talk about scams.